Yes, I would like look, it's listed as review, it's listed on the business, but I would like to bring this to the next regularly scheduled council meeting.
So you're asking for a suspension of the rules? This is
Yeah,
only on
so-
as a discussion.
Okay, then I'll move for a suspension of the rules.
Suspension of the rules requires 2/3 vote to suspend the rules.
Well,
Thank you.
you're gonna take a discussion on that, or do we feel like we're ready to do this?
Me personally?
Yeah.
No. And there's an issue if we're taking this back to caucus, that Monday's a holiday, the 12th. Columbus Day City Hall shut down. I have no problems, and I spoke to Mr. Petrini at some point with just scheduling that issue. And I apologize, Mary, you did get back to me, I was reaching out to you, was trying to coordinate a schedule more, and I didn't even go any further because Mr. Petrini had a problem the week that I was looking to get a special meeting of the council. There's nothing that prohibits us, which was actually suggested to me by Corporation Council, that we do a separate meeting, so there's nothing else on the agenda but this whole thing. So there are no other items. Ms. Cole approached me about 4 or 5 weeks ago, all right, and I thought it was a decent idea.
If I'm gonna make a motion to suspend the rules, let me explain why. I'd like to make a motion, I want to suspend the rules, it requires a 2/3 vote. I believe that with two committees, with the commission and the council dealing with this issue, there could be a time period where we need to work out some minor differences or some major differences. By waiting until the 27th, we have backed ourselves into a corner where there is an election exactly 1 week away. I think by moving it, by suspending the rules and moving this to the next regularly scheduled council meeting, we create flexibility, we bring in other council members, we find out exactly what Mr. Hempstead just said, what other folks are thinking, and if there are some things we are not aware of from members who haven't been involved in the planning committee, we will have another 2 weeks to address them. I would hate to find myself sitting in a council meeting on the 27th in which 4 or 5 council members start to look at things we thought were settled issues and begin to raise some legitimate concerns. And this happens all the time on the council. So basically, by making it the 23rd, by making it the 13th, we give ourselves a little bit of flexibility in terms of scheduling. If it requires another 2 weeks, so be it. I have no problems with that. But I don't want to find myself on the 27th and say, whoops, it requires another 2 weeks. Because there's certain things councils do after elections and certain things they don't do once you're really basically out of office. So I think it's just considering all the time that this council has this committee has put into this, I think it does us a disservice by backing us into a corner. And I have a feeling, to be honest, I have a feeling the majority of the council and the majority of this committee would rather see it on the agenda for the 13th. Whether it goes there by a special, be suspending the rules in committee, whether it goes there by someone suspending the rules on the council floor, or whether we do it through just an informal vote tonight of our committee members to see what they want. I just don't think, I think it's legislative brinksmanship on an issue that's pushing $300 million to back ourselves into the very last meeting, substantive meeting of this particular council before an election. I just don't think it's a good idea. So I'd like to do this through a suspension of the rules so we can vote on whether or not the majority of this committee wants to see it on the 13th. If we don't suspend the rules, then we don't know how the committee members really feel. By suspending the rules, changing the agenda, we can actually find out how committee members feel. So I want to make a motion to suspend the rules. We'll take the vote, and then we can take a vote on whether to send this to the council on the 13th. Thank you.
Can I just clarify something, that if the committee were to decide to send this to the full council, any committee member who votes to send it to the full council can still vote against the LDA and the CMSP and the URP when it goes to the full council. So I just want to make sure everybody's clear that a vote tonight to send it to the full council is not by any means a vote in favor of approval of this document.
Just one more point if I may. There is ample precedent in this council and other councils for folks to make decisions that kind of in a way, but maybe in a healthy way, will bypass committee procedures where an issue is so important. They want the full council to make the major decisions. And time is an issue here when it comes to opening malls and other things with an election on the horizon. So I think we have ample precedent for moving something quickly to the council when we're faced with these kinds of circumstances. So I make the motion to suspend the rules.
Okay, can you be exact, suspending the rules to do what?
To send, well, to be honest, to send to the council the conceptual master site plan and also the LDA conceptual master site plan. We discussed the other parts of the LDA before.
Just a technical thing, I think he has to make a motion to add it to the agenda.
Don't you have to suspend the rules first?
That's what, suspend the rules to add it to the agenda.
If you'd like this entire document to go up to the full council, then there also needs to be a motion to move the URP
I
to
agree.
the full council.
Well,
as
that's number two.
So it's
What I'm
CMSP.
getting at, to be honest with you, I would like to amend the agenda, make these action items. I would like to send the LDA/master, the site plan, as well as the urban renewal plan, which is dependent, if you look at it, on the site plan. You accept one, you're basically accepting the other. So I would like the LDA/site plan and the urban renewal plan to go to the full council on the 13th, so everyone can get into a discussion, and if there's a need to table it, for whatever reason, to the 27th, fine. We're providing ourselves flexibility to achieve Mr. Hempstead's goal of having it done in October.
Or to some meeting in between the 13th
Oh,
and
of
the
course, of
27th.
course, of course.
Which was what I was trying to achieve.
Either way, either way.
And you have a motion on the floor to suspend the rules, and the LDAs, there's no information in our packet for it, so I'm not sure how we've taken that up without the information in the back of the LDA, business terms.
But we have discussed at length the business terms several times. It's at a
I
public
agree,
hearing and everything
but
else.
I'm saying, I don't know there's nothing in the packet to move. If you're moving the conceptual master site plan, are you looking to move this conceptual master site plan? Or I'm just trying to get clarity.
We'll let Tim figure. I'm moving the LDA/master, the site, LDA/site plan. I'm moving this with the conditions. A resolution will be prepared based on tonight's discussion. Okay, the business terms will also be included. Remember, the full council has not discussed the business terms once. We're going to wait till the 27th. Excuse me,
And
we
you're
haven't
wrong.
discussed it one time. The
I
full
disagree
council.
with you. The council had a full
Okay. Have we appro-
hours long on the LDA.
In public?
Is the motion debatable?
No.
You're
Yeah,
right.
absolutely, the motion's available. This is
Yeah.
that is like a.
Was
motion
that
to
discussion in public?
The LDA was last meeting we had in September, but the council had a several hour
That's
executive
right.
session of the LDA.
I remember the executive session.
Okay.
So I'm suspending the rules to send those, what we call 3 items. I call it the LDA/site plan, as well as the urban renewal plan.
Well-
When I say that, it's Tim with the conditions we discussed tonight.
All right.
Can I just, you wanted clarification as to what was before, what Mr. Kimmel would like to go before the council? I think the only thing that can go
Yeah.
before the council is the 4th Amendment to the LDA that has been discussed in public at this committee and at the full council a number of times. This conceptual master site plan with these conditions of approval that the redevelopment agency has proposed, as well as the URP, which is now pending in part of a public hearing, the public hearing process.
I
So
don't
it would be
think-
those 3
all right.
documents.
Well, Chair's gonna make a slight ruling here that we're gonna deal with one issue at a time. So let's just deal with this. Is accepting a motion to move forward an accessible master plan, because that's the only thing that's in our packet, and it's the only item that was put on to review and discuss. So, open for discussion. we'll let them go down there first. Mr. Sims, you had your hands up first one, anyway.
Well, I just wanted to say, you know, we've had discussions after discussions, meeting after meeting, regarding the LDA, the master site plan, conceptual site plan. And I just think that it's time for us to move this process along. You know, it seems like every meeting is the same, questions, the same, answers, and it seems like we're not getting anywhere. At some point, we have to take a stand and move this project forward. I mean, I represent this, I'm a representative of the district where this mall is going. And over the last 13 to 15 years, we've been seeing this dark hole sitting over there for forever. And it's time that we be responsible here and move this thing along, because, I mean, it's the same issues going over and over and over and over again. We're delaying it. Let's move this thing along once and for all. Let's get this mall shovels in the ground, get people to work, and let's be proud of our city. But continue to keep belaboring this and going back and forth, send it back to committees, send it to the council, send it back to committee. It's just ridiculous. It's time to move forward with this project and let's get it done. I mean, I understand we have some of these other questions and concerns, but those are, you know, as Mr. Kimball alluded to, we have time if we set a date for a meeting for the 13th, and we have the 2 weeks in between there to answer any other questions and concerns that we may have. But it's time that we move forward with this, because I'm sick of tired of talking about the same thing over and over again. There's nothing new that's coming before this body that's different than what we discussed or talked about, you know, 6 months ago. You know, so I think it's just right now, it's just time to move forward and get this thing done.
Mr. Bonner?
I actually appreciate Mr. Sims's, you know, sentiment on that, and it's his district and that kind of thing. Now, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna be told we're in the wrong department, but if I say we've never discussed traffic in the first place, nor the radius of how far out GGP will be helping out with fixing the traffic flow, or where the intersections are that they're supposed to be contributing to and how far that goes. We've never even got to that point, but I don't know, maybe somebody's gonna tell me you're in the wrong department. That's up to zoning and that's their problem. I don't know that, but Mr. Kimmel says when he knocks on doors, he hears mostly about who's got the public space on the inside. The only thing I ever hear is, where's all that traffic going? How are they gonna figure that out? Will you ever be able to move? Are they gonna cut through neighborhoods? We never got to that point at all. We never even discussed it. I don't even know if it's part of what we're supposed to discuss, but it never came up in any of these discussions. So, you know, I'm not ready.
Well, I think the last time that I checked, I don't think any of us are traffic experts or architects or what have you. That's what they have all these folks here for, to give us that preview. And I think that, you know, having all these studies, et cetera, that's been done, I think, you know, we already know. And I think if we haven't gotten it by now, then something's wrong here. You know, and it's just time for us to move this thing forward, Rick. I mean, it's just we've been belaboring this issue for forever and ever. It's time to take action on it. That's it.
Okay, Ms. O'Toole,
I have a procedural question for either Tim or the attorney. So Monday night, we have a meeting scheduled. I know it's a special meeting, so the agenda has to be very specific. We cannot change anything on the floor. Seeing as the URP has not gone to public hearing yet, I don't feel comfortable sending it to the council when we haven't even heard the public's opinion yet. Could we possibly put the motion on the agenda for Monday night after we've reviewed everything, had some more time to think about it, and take action Monday night at the end of that meeting, rather than doing it on the fly tonight?
I'm not aware that you were actually doing a meeting. I thought that the council was being invited to the public hearing. It's the agency's public hearing on the
It's
URP.
not
Well,
a
the
joint
meeting of
meeting
planning
like
committee
everything
has to
else we've
notice
done?
this,
But we will, that's the first I've heard that you're actually calling the meeting.
Oh, I thought it was a joint meeting like everything
I
else.
understood from day one, that was the purpose of jointly And we were working jointly, was any of you using the minutes at some point about that meeting?
Yeah, it was our next
Right.
joint meeting, was my understanding.
Right. I'm sorry that wasn't communicated that, but
There's eight
I will
days
post it tomorrow
from,
as a
there's 8 days
planning
from the
meeting.
public hearing to the council. If we hear things from the public hearing that really makes us pause, then we will, on the 13th, if we feel necessary, if these things can't be resolved, we go to the 27th. That's the thing. By say, having a public hearing on the 5th, and then not being able to deliberate on what's said on the public till the 27th, we got a little bit of a problem.
No, I'm saying make a decision Monday night.
Why? Well, I don't see the reason. No, I don't, never mind.
you don't see the reason why.
If, to not make the decision tonight, first of all, you've said many times, we've had special meetings where the agendas shouldn't be changed, da-da-da-da. Fine. Here we are at a meeting that's not a special meeting, that we're dealing with them all, and we're trying to make it along, through a suspension of the rules. My feelings, look, the public hearing is on the urban renewal study. What is in the urban renewal study is dependent on what is in here, okay? If you look at everything in it that's being discussed, it's either very general, oh, we wanna have nice trees. Great, I think every little town and city in the country wants to have nice trees, okay? I'm okay with that, there's not a lot of controversial stuff in there. The public hearing is going to be about this, not this, no matter how you cut it. That's what everyone is gonna talk about, and they'll raise issues like Rich raised with traffic and stuff like that. Now, so my feeling is, as a committee, we have to, at this point, bite the bullet. We will hear the public will speak on the 8th. I intend to come and listen. I don't know if it's joint or whatever, I wanna come. And if there's some things there, I will know that we will have, the public hearing is the 5th, and we have 8 days to digest that, and if there are any things we have to adjust at the full council, let's do so. I don't see any reason not to schedule it for the only reason I can see for not scheduling it for the 13th is some people don't want it really resolved in October. Why would you not schedule it for the 13th and give ourselves a little wiggle room to make sure it's passed?
That's not a true statement of anybody.
Well, it's my opinion.
You're right, as long as you say that's your opinion.
It's my
that's fine.
opinion.
But it's an accusation opinion.
Well, yes, it is.
Okay.
And there are people, never mind,
Yeah.
left the city.
I think we all know the issues, and I have to echo what Mr. Sims said. I think we need to light the fire under our butts, and we could always change everything on the council floor. You know, I think we should get this information to the rest of the council, have them reach out to Tim, know the issues, and then voice their opinions. And if anybody has any issues, say with the overpass, we make that amendment on the floor and change it. There seems to only be 3, 4 issues, and top one being the overpass. So if come council night, if there's enough opposition to the overpass, then let's make that amendment and see where the votes lie.
Well, this is why I understand what's being proposed here this evening. That it's a conceptual master plan with the exhibit being the conditions, this,
Which includes the overpass.
which includes the overpass.
Yeah.
Way I'm understanding. So, I guess the next question I would ask, so, it's funny, we're saying one thing, get it out there, if the committee's had enough information it feels for its purposes on this item, then everybody's moving this as an item saying, we're okay with this. And
No,
we're saying, okay, so, okay. I
no,
just wanna
I'm
make
not
it clear.
saying that, I'm not
Okay.
saying that.
All right,
I
yeah.
think the full council has a right to weigh in on this, and if we
No.
need 2 meetings, we need 2 meetings. It is not an endorsement, it's a procedural issue to ensure that this is done one way or the other by the end of October.
Yeah.
That we don't find ourselves backed in the corner at the end of October where no place to turn and ends up being dealt with by another council. That's it. All it is a procedural issue to get it to the full council.
It's a question of timing, and that's what this issue's about right now. Nothing else. All right,
Just-
Mr. Brown? Yes.
Yeah, just, not that I agree with Mr. Kimmel, but just to help him out in one respect, that I think is a 2-step process here, that you have to vote to add it to the agenda and then make a vote on his thing, because it's not listed on the agenda, and that tricks the public, okay? So it's a very serious vote to add something to the agenda. So
Right.
that's what you're doing.
The motion
You're
is
voting
suspend
to
the
add
rules.
it.
Take it up as
But
an
I gotta
action item.
suspend the rules to
Right,
do, okay.
right. But he wanted,
I understand. The
his
motion is
motion was
suspend the
to,
rules,
right,
take it up
right,
as an
do it
action.
in one
To
step.
take it up as an action item.
No, Rich is right.
I know. Okay. So we clear on the procedure. Procedure is suspension of the rules to take it up as an action item requires 2/3 or 5 affirmative votes to make it happen.
I have a question. I am making a motion to suspend, as you said, but the "it" for me is LDA/conceptual master site plan. Even though we do not today have a backup with us, we have had it on numerous occasions, it's been discussed. So what I am adding to the agenda is, I don't know, you know, people talk about the Fourth Amendment and stuff like that, but what I'm talking about is the LDA/conceptual master site plan, to add that to the agenda. I know we have dealt with stuff in the past where we had no backup at all. Here we've had backup on numerous occasions, and we probably have it in our briefcases or somewhere, it's not a problem. So I am moving both the business terms and the site plan to add to the agenda.
Okay. Everybody clear? Yes?
What are the business terms?
I can't give you any backup because there's no backup.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Somebody's just saying that we're gonna do them without.
Disposition agreement.
I just needed to make sure there wasn't a third document. Thank you.
And the reference date, nothing, but we're just gonna move the LDA terms. That's okay. All right, those in favor of suspending the rules to take this up as an action item, please show by raising of your hands. 4. Those opposed? Okay, motion fails.
So this will be dealt with on the 27th.
If you read my email and took me at my word, the effort was to get it prior to the 22nd and get it out to its own meeting.
How many
Yeah.
members of the committee would like to see it go to the council at the 13th? It's a majority.
I don't have a problem with it going on the 13th. I have a problem of adding this large of a vote to an agenda tonight that we came here to discuss things. I don't like just pushing it forward. If we got it on the agenda Monday night, if that works, I'm all for that. It does need to go to the council. I don't like the procedure of adding such a big vote on the fly with no backup and no public hearing completed for one of the pieces.
I don't make up these agendas, my apologies, but you're right.
I'm just
It's not
telling you
my
why
agenda.
I didn't vote in favor. It's not
It's
that I
not my
don't want it to
agenda.
go to the council, I don't want it to go in this way.
The agenda controls what we can do and not do. You learned an important lesson. You're right.